Welcome back to Maths with Mr. Duffield. I've had a request for the channel, which is exciting, going over some basic percentages. Now, I know one of my classes did a test a couple of weeks ago on percentages. You did okay, but it's worth going over these basics just to make sure they're really solidified. Percentages. What are they all about? Let's take an example. 35%. This percent sign, it means something specific. It means out of 100. What does that mean? If you have a group of people and you are told 35% of them like Brussels sprouts with their Christmas dinner, that means if there were 100 of them, 35 of those 100 would like Brussels sprouts. And it's that kind of proportionality. It can be scaled down because it might be that there aren't 100 of them. It might be that there are 50 of them. It might be that there are 1,000 of them. But 35% means for every 100 people, there are 35 who, in this case, like Brussels sprouts. That is the basics. That's the idea of percentages. Now, we can express percentages as fractions. So if 35 out of 100, that can be expressed like 35 over 100. That's a fraction, right? It can also be used to calculate the numbers of people in groups of certain sizes. So I said that there's not necessarily going to be 100 people. Let's say that there were 80 people, right? If there were 80 people and I was told 35% of them, 35 out of 100 of them liked Brussels sprouts with their Christmas dinner, what number of people would that relate to? Well, in essence, I can combine this fraction element with this numerical element and find that fraction of this number of people. That is finding 35% of 80. And the first thing I should actually do here is cancel this fraction down. It can be simplified because, well, 35 and 100 are both divisible by 5, aren't they? 35 can be cancelled down to 7, and 100 to 20. And then multiply 80 by that, okay? Which makes 7 times 80, 560 divided by 20, 28, okay? That is the basic gist of, well, working with percentages, effectively converting them into fractions, and then applying those fractions to numbers to find relevant amounts. Now there are some shortcuts here. Okay, let me show you some of the shortcuts. And the shortcuts, you can acquire these by simply writing the percentage as a fraction over 100 and then simplifying. For instance, 50%, right? That is 50 over 100. Does that simplify? Yes, it does. It simplifies to 1/2. So 50% is equal to 1/2. 25%, do exactly the same thing. 25 over 100. Does that simplify? Yes, it does. It simplifies to 1/4. So 25% is equal to 1/4. One that often trips people up is 10%. Okay? It's the same idea. It's just the percentage over 100 and then simplified. Well, that makes 1/10. You can rewrite any percentage as any fraction by writing that percentage over 100 and then simplifying. If you need to take some time looking over how simplifying fractions works, that's great. Take the time to do that. It will benefit you immeasurably. That's basic percentages. Might do a little bit more another time. I'm going to go to bed now.